welcome again Dr. Rhee and the cellist. Pardon his name again. Sorry.
Tom.
Tom. Yes. We welcome Tom.
Ready?
Yes. We are having lecture with Dr. Rhee last week. Last time, and when we talk about the cue and meter, and also cross the bar knife, and also don't be rest. I think that's helped me a lot during those weeks teaching and other things. And this week, I believe Dr. Rhee is going to talk about the balance, which is super important for collaborative pianist, and other things like direction of melody. And also, I am very looking forward to listen about the recording position and also the professional reason on your list if you are going to talk about. And
Okay.
Yeah. And so, shall we start?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a lot of examples today, and some of the examples I will be very quick and we will pass, and certain examples I will spend a little bit more time explaining more in detail and so on. And two examples I think we will skip. But let's start with the changing role. Who is leading and who is following? And you know, we all think it's so simple and so clear. Everyone knows when they have solo melody and when they don't have it. It's so obvious, but surprisingly, when I teach students, undergrad or graduate, especially violinists, because they are violinists, they always want to be heard. And sometimes they forget who is leading and who is accompanying. And this is the example, you know, the number one, Spring Sonata. So no pianist will play that. So we play. So we do not. So this part should be much more subdued. Of course, it has to be clearly there, but it's more. It's just providing the harmonies. So this part you play less and let the violinist. And then piano part starts, and the violin has, I can tell you, maybe at least 5 out of 10, they will still play, you know, quite loud, insisting their melody, forgetting that they are accompanying you. So it's nothing wrong if you gently remind them, look, this is piano. I cannot play louder. It has to be softer, and perhaps you are a little bit too loud. You know, you can discuss these things if you feel that the violinist is also there's a different way of playing it if it's a solo, but if it's accompanying them, it will be more flexible, and you need a more flexible accompanying from the violinist, so you can remind them, and you'll be quite surprised. They play exactly in the same dynamic level, because it is confusing. If you look at the violin part, it's in piano, and then this is also in piano. Beethoven didn't say pianissimo, so they think it's same dynamic. Why should I change? You know, forgetting that their role is completely different. So you can talk about it. Now, the next example we are going to play together, Brahms' F major cello sonata, second movement. you know?
Sorry, I think the sound quality of cello is not good because of the microphone. Is it possible to move a little far away?
Try that, maybe.
Yeah. Let's try one more time. How is it?
A little better.
Is it better?
Can I hear the string, the playing sound for Tom?
I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
I think, like bow, right? Do you want to go on the second stanza? Set the second stanza. Maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. How is it?
It's better than the one before, but less weak is better. But I think that's fine.
Okay. One last thing.
If you go too far, my
Yeah.
is not.
I'm turning it up as I go far away.
I will. How about if you go a little bit closer here? Yeah.
And then turn it down. Yeah.
Sorry, we have to still check. Yeah. How is it?
It's better. Yeah, better.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is the very beginning. Is this the melody or is this the melody? For instance, in the fifth bar, that's the cello line solo melody. And the very opening is the piano melody. And if you remember, when we just first time, Tom was going. This, for two reasons, it was problematic because you're counting 16 notes like a beat. So he was subdividing. We are doing it on purpose to illustrate to you. So he was doing dum, dum, din, dum to make pianist life really difficult because pianist, it can last only so long. And this is in 2 and it's adagio, so this is slow enough, but I can promise you almost all cellists, or 9 out of 10, they will go. It's so important, but actually they are only accompanying the pianist. I played with 17 different cellists this piece, and it was very interesting. The 17th cellist was saying, I don't want to play this piece too slowly. everyone plays slowly and it shouldn't be too slow. Basically, he meant he wanted to play in 2, not in 8, like. So, in a way, the 16 cellists, they were all very good cellists. And they still took the very opening like a solo line. And it even is a question, who gives the cue for this very opening? So the pianists go. Yeah. So this is a famous opening, and so often it is misunderstood by cellists. They are just accompanying the pianist here. So you should really remember and tell them, look, I have this poor note. It has to hold, so long period of time. And if they really make bum, 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 we do not stand a chance to shape the melodic line. In fact, when the cellist starts their melody, our job is, could you do from your solo? Now I will play in a different way. Same place. If I don't accompany and play as if, let me play all my notes without any sense of direction, cellists cannot sing their melody either. So you have to help by never like this, playing steady. You have to sing their melody and accompany with a sense of direction. Okay, next example. This is more complicated. Could you play
Do you want a specific
the
edition?
opening?
A certain edition?
The next example?
Yeah.
The Beethoven C major.
Do you want the 2 different editions on this one?
No, just this is not the problem, it's later.
Okay, yeah.
Skip the beat.
I see the beat, sorry.
Now, so cello goes. So it is more of a dialogue in a very short phrases, you know. So here, no one is really accompanying, and you are just making a dialogue. So it's very different. And then from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bar, so the piano is third below the cello and making a really nice duet. So nobody is really accompanying or leading, or you are singing really together. And so your right hand is accompanying perhaps the left hand, because and then changes here. So you have to really weave through. You are solist, I am cellist, you are accompanist, you are solist, I am solist, you are accompanist. It really goes back and forth. So in a way here you have to be ready to sing equally, changing very quickly, you know? Yeah. Now, next example is a very important example. I noticed with almost all violinists, they never knew what is going on. I will play a little bit before the example you have. So violin has so we have to play very quietly, going along with the violin melodic line. Now, after their solo line, we have your example. You can see this. And I can tell you, almost all violinists, we are playing, and then they will come in. As if this is a very important line, but actually it is just continuing staccato line around the piano. So especially when you see the crescendo, they will really play out, but never louder than. So no matter what goes on, we need to hear. This is the main line. And as the violinist, not to play out too much. It should be under the piano part. This really, I have not yet heard any violinist who really understood this among students. They all play, really play out, and it really doesn't help the pianist to shape the line. Next example. Now, it's a Brahms G major sonata. Of course, it's a nice melodic line, but if you listen to this with another line, it becomes much more interesting. So then the right hand, what's happening is much more interesting because of the two lines rhythmically fighting against, pulling away from each other. You see, then three lines all in different rhythmic patterns, it creates such a beautiful rhythmic tension and beautiful counterpoint. Three melodic lines almost saying, insisting their lines. So here, pianist, violinist, we all, our left hand and right hand and violinist, three lines are all equal, really speaking out. Of course, left hand, this is heavy, so we have to be careful, but it is playing not just an accompanying line, but it's a beautiful equal three melodic line, making a nice weaving together, you know, bringing out the beautiful texture. I always find when you come to this section, it's just such an emotionally, just almost pouring your heart out, you know, very expressive section in the whole piece. It's the most complex section in the entire movement. You know? Now, so it's very, as you can see, sometimes it's very clear, like Spring Sonata and so on, but sometimes it's not clear, like Brahms F major, don't, you know, so you have to think about it, which line is the leading line, and adjusting the way you play. You insist your melodic line or you support your partner. This you have to know the role you are doing, following or supporting or leading. Now, we will move to the next issue, balance. We all worry about balance, we as collaborative pianists. And once my student did a page turn for famous pianist, Robert MacDonald, who teaches at Juilliard, and he was playing chamber music in a small venue. And my student noticed that Mr. MacDonald was using a lot of left pedal. So he was a bit puzzled, and he came afterward. And I was surprised that he was using a lot of left pedal, una coda. Is it necessary? And I said, answer is not clear cut. If the room is very echoey, and if the piano is very bright, yes, you have to use a lot of unacoda. If it's not, and if it's a big space, and if your partner happens to have a very powerful instrument, you can use less unacoda, and it will be fine. So there is no set rule for how often you use unacoda and how much often you should not use. But one thing clear is unacoda is not an only answer for controlling the volume, because if you use unacoda all the way down, it kills the quality of the sound and it kills the color. So you have to think about what are the possible options to control the balance rather than just relying on the unacoda. And after my student asked me, I happened to be at the concert when Mr. McDonald played with one of the violin faculty members at Juilliard. And I said, wow, I take my hat off. Not even a single moment he was covering the violinist. He had all the intensity and the support and the balance. Everything was in the right order. So he was not just using the unacoda by any means. You know, he knew exactly what he was doing and what was necessary. So we will go through different examples and what are the things we can think about before we settle on the unacoda as a last resort. Now, this example, I still remember, this was in the about 30 years ago. I was at the Piatigorsky seminar and I was turning the score for this poor pianist who didn't have quite good technique. And he was playing this piece. And the cello teacher, who was the Bernard Greenhouse, after he started few bars, he just jumped out of his chair and easy to the pianist. He just could not stand it how loud the pianist was. And because I was turning the score, I looked at his hand, what he was doing, and I said, oh my God, he has no technique. He cannot do this, So it was more of a technical problem than anything else. It was not his intention to play, to cover the cellist. I will imitate what he did, and I will also play what you could do. Now, perhaps another way. Anyway, the second one was better, I hope. Was it? Was second one better?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you can see my hand, can you see my hand?
Yes.
So you play the first chord clearly and then drop. So I am doing, I'm not letting the key come up all the way. Only halfway up and then press right there. And so what I am doing is play the first chord and then drop. it has the hairpin, so you want to make a swell, but even if you don't do any swell, because you are repeating so many notes so many times, it will sound like a nice swell. So the touch should never be ta 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 from the air like this with a stiff arm like hammering, but more like ta da 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 ta ta da 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 ta di da da da. So don't let the key come up all the way, and stay in contact with the keys and press right back, press right back, press right back. That way the sound will not have that attacking quality. So it's the touch playing like this. It will help to control the volume. Is it clear there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, very clear.
Yeah. This is a very important technique or touch you can use quite a lot when you have many repeating notes, how to play on the keyboard in contact and press right back. It's like a basketball player, they play with the ball like this. It is in their hand. They never play the ball like this. So think of yourself like a basketball player. Da, 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 da. This is the ball, always in contact with your hand. And also you'll be able to control the sound quality as well by staying in contact with the keyboard. Next example. Shall we do 114?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah? I'll play in different way. So, second one, I hope you can hear the cellist better, right?
Yes.
So in this case, I was using the una coda. It is fortissimo, but you can use una coda. Instead of it sounds intense, but with the una coda, it still sounds fine. You see, so yes, indeed, there are places where you must use una coda to control, especially if you are playing with a 9-foot concert grand. There is no way cellist can survive in this section if you don't do anything. And if you play just to make the balance work, then it it is fortissimo, but it doesn't sound right either. So you cannot play soft. You have to play with. You have to play with all the intensity, but by using the una coda, it will take care of the balance problem. In my first serious collaboration with a cellist when I was still studying, she was a doctoral student and quite good, very agile fingers and so on. And she had a very clean playing, but her sound did not have really the broad richness. Anyway, we rehearsed almost 2 months Brahms F major, and this was my first time, and I loved the piece, and it's such a gigantic work, so I practiced every day, and we practically rehearsed 4-5 times a week for two months. And we finally played a concert. And then after the concert, she said, a few days later, my roommate said, "You are too loud." And so I asked my teacher who was there, "What did you think? Well, how was the balance?" And my teacher said, "Oh, it was okay." Her teacher, the cello teacher, actually said, no, it was fine. So cellist wanted to be heard above the pianist all the time, but it sort of really undermined my confidence. How do I know whether I am too loud or I am too soft? How do I know? On the stage, you know? So I was talking with my former teacher at Juilliard, who was my piano solo teacher, but he played with Piatigorsky and Heifetz. And so I phoned him and I asked, how do you know you are in good balance? If you are, I said, if you are at school, you can ask your teacher or your friend to check it for you. But if you are performing somewhere out of town, touring, nobody can check for you. And how do you know? And he gave me an answer, very interesting. I try to remember whenever I go out to the stage, you know. When you're playing with your partner, if you can hear your partner at all times, whether even if it's a loud section, if you can clearly hear your partner, that means you are not too loud. If it is a difficult part, pianist gets wrapped up with playing the piano part and stop listening and just play out as loud as one can and stop listening and miss your partner's part. And if you cannot hear your partners, then it can also create ensemble problem because you are not hearing your partner. So he said the best guidance is whether you can hear your partner at all times. Never stop listening to your partner. And I think that's a very good guideline for all of us to know that no matter how loud the section is, if you can hear your partner all right, that should be fine. And it also gives you a little confidence in a way when you're on your own. Now, another example, with a long crescendo. Do you have this?
I have it on my part.
I
I think I'm right place. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Shall we do it?
One more time. Let's do this.
Anyway, let me explain this. So it says poco a poco crescendo. So if we do this is already so loud. And with a long crescendo, first of all, if your partner is in the low register for violin, this is not high, you know. So you have to play one dynamic lower. So start at the lower point, and this is where you want to go. You go crescendo, find a spot to go back. You do the crescendo in a spiral motion. This way. So I will show you, just let me do it alone. Drop. So each one drop a little bit. Then, because there is so much sonority in the air, nobody will hear that you are dropping because there's a sound. Then you start here. If you have already sound in the air here with the same, then it becomes even higher. So it's a very important trick where you go back and then do the crescendo again. And so if you do this spiral motion crescendo, it will sound like the crescendo is going on and on and on, but sound itself does not build. And the second trick is, with the crescendo, we pianists go one step after they start the crescendo. So when you see the crescendo, don't get excited. Maybe if it's an 8-bar long crescendo, you can wait a little bit. Let the violinist, cellist lead the crescendo, and then when you hear, you start. And with the diminuendo, you go before them so that their diminuendo can be heard. So with the crescendo, one step behind, with the diminuendo, before they do, you are one step ahead of your partner. There are many examples with Frank. This I think I will just do. So crescendo is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bars until. So at the beginning of the crescendo, I'm not doing any crescendo. Maybe here a little bit because we are playing alone. I'm not doing any crescendo. So take your time with the crescendo. Don't get excited before your partner. It's very important. For instance, this note is already low, but this will be heard. Yeah, so if their note is very high, you can give more support, like I am not playing. I'm not doing it because this is low, and then so depending on where your partner is, if the partner is in a high register, you can give a little bit more. Then it becomes aggressive. So it's a cadence. So the measure 108, you have to play. So it's a important understanding. The balance, it's depending on your partner's register, you have to adjust too. I say when your partner is in a low register, you have to almost ignore what you have, the dynamic indication. Yeah? Now let's look at the example number 9. Yeah, from there.
The first one, the on the D sharp on it.
Yeah, F sharp,
F.
measure 80.
I only have it from the. I only have it from here.
Just let's do it one more time. Sorry. So this again, you have the crescendo at the end of measure 81, but you reach to the forte 5 bars later. So piano, still una coda. So from 2 bars before forte, you can open up, but all this section. So gradually adding the dynamic level, but maybe first bar here. Then it will be a very spread out crescendo by again dropping it at the beginning of each bar. Sorry. So finding a spot where you can go back dynamically a little bit, and continue on the spiral mode. The next example number 10, is a Greek sonata. Give a clear definition. Piano. You don't have to do any crescendo because Greek wrote a long pedal, so pedal is accumulating the sonority. So if you do the crescendo with a touch, this is what happens. This is way too much. So this is nice crescendo. Nice crescendo. I am not making it. You don't need to do this because the pedal is working for you. So with a long pedal, if you don't have, that doesn't sound good. So Greek wanted a long pedal. But with the finger, you don't have to press so hard. And let the pedal just naturally create the crescendo for you. It's a little same technique as the Mendelssohn cello sonata, you know. I will skip example 11. Example 12 and 13. This is a very interesting example. And the poor violinist is between pianist's left hand and right hand. Of course, it's not an important line, but if you, nobody will be able to hear the violinist. Never, because of the, and so you have to be considerate of your partner's register. Now the famous now for violin, this is a very low register. And the funny thing is, you are also doubling your partner as well. So in such cases, you really should stay out of your partner's dynamic level. Schumann does this in the songs a lot. If you play the accompaniment part of the Schumann songs, you enjoy so much because the piano part has all the beautiful singer's line as well. But if it is on the same register as your singer's line, do you really play out? I don't think so. I thought about it, why it sounds as if you are fighting if you play the same note, same melodic line on the same register with your partner. Because, you know, string players and singers, they don't have our piano's boring, well-tempered tuning, 12 notes. Their F sharp is higher than G flat. We have F sharp, G flat, same note. But the string players, no, their G sharp, the F sharp is higher than the G flat. So goes for the singers as well. So we are the only one who has such a boring well-tempered tuning. So that's why, in a way, we let our partners do slightly higher, slightly lower, nuanced intonation. It's much nicer than actually piano's intonation, you know? So this nobody told me, but I think the more I thought about this is actually an issue. So you have to play, you know, never articulate, never try to make a melodic line. It's just a harmony. Much more blending touch and sonority. Now, number 14, that's the cello sonata. Yeah. This is a famous spot. From there, I play in two different ways. Okay, now the other way. So the second one, I played a little bit with the una coda and the cello. This is all in the low register. So although it is forte and our part is forte, I am not playing. I am dropping. And in fact, here I even use una coda. And then gradually build up. And I am bringing out less. I don't play out left hand so much. So slowly you have to think about how you can adjust the voicing, which part you play out, which part you don't play out. It will come back to that more. Now, example number 15. Again, the violin is slow, so bring one hit pedal, and then you can change the pedal a little bit so that you don't insist. And also the interesting thing is, this is the opening, and then in the recapitulation, when it comes back, so you have to leave the room for getting louder in the recapitulation. So at the beginning, not to give, not so much. I know it is C minor, it has bit tragic, but that's enough because of the register. Now, do you want to play? Yeah?
No?
Number 16.
Yeah. So from the first one.
Okay, go. We haven't rehearsed. I'm sorry. Let me show you two different ways. The left hand can be much softer. And this is a melodic line. So this you can play. So instead of playing everything softer or everything louder, bring out the important your solistic line and the accompaniment figure. And especially because your left hand is close to your partner's line. When you have either left hand or right hand, which has the same register, that's the line you don't want to play out too much because you are in the same register. So play the left hand softer here because we need to. So play the left hand softer. We can skip the example 17 and let's do the example 18. Never. Your right hand is purely just broken chord providing the harmony, and the important line is that's the duet between your left hand and your partner. So often, especially with the violinist, your left hand is so important. Far away from your partner's register, you provide all the support, while your right hand. This was my first lesson I had with my beloved teacher I had at University of Michigan. It's because of him I actually became an accompanist. And this was the first piece he assigned me. I had absolutely no clue, no proper lessons until that day. And when I walked in, this is a very difficult piece. And I practiced a lot because it was so difficult. And he didn't say anything good or bad, nothing. He said, "Darling, your right hand is too loud." And he said, "Softer." So I play softer, softer, nothing. Until basically I. playing right hand really soft, is with a very even. That was not easy either, but that's what it was. And after the lesson, I said, I never heard anything like this. And then I applied that to my solo playing, and suddenly my solo playing sounded much better too when I controlled my accompaniment part. So in Beethoven, you will see many occasions like this, and stay out of their way and remind yourself nothing. It really should be nothing, and just it's so beautiful. Arpeggio. Second movement. I actually taught this piece for the piano solo major who came in for chamber music lesson. And I will imitate what she did. Maybe I exaggerated a little bit, but the problem is here. This B, you are playing with a thumb. So if you are not careful, because this thumb, it will stick out. So really, you should be able to control this thumb, And if you are not careful with the playing right hand really soft, also what happens is you are subdividing the meter. Remember? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So it creates all kinds of problems. Not just the balance. Can you come in? Yes. You see, so uh, you see the beautiful counter melody between your left with your left hand and supporting the cello line. So voicing right hand much softer. Another example. I am in a way showing you many examples so that you will remember, you know. Balance problem, also meter problem as well. Right hand softer. Next example, Brahms cello sonata. I play different way. Once again, where you come in,
Yeah.
one. So and right hand. Never. It's so sounds so busy and also this Mr. Yeah, this mysterious line they cannot play out. So one more time. Yeah. One more time. So you really have to go under. So just bring out. You know, so. Left hand line is the only line you want to bring out. Now, this famous spot in the second movement. You know what? That's the only line you want to bring out. And never body, your partner will not know where you are. Dian, and you are going, okay? Once again, I will play wrong way. Yeah, so not to play. Anyway, you are repeating. A little bit similar, like Brahms D minor opening. Your right hand is playing basically same melodic line. So playing right hand much softer. So I think with these examples, I wanted to show you how you can bring out one voice, sometimes left hand, sometimes right hand, and that will take care of a lot of balance problems. Of course, the using una coda as well. And so there are many ways, as you have heard, adjusting, dropping in certain places, sometimes playing with una coda, sometimes voicing. There are many different possibilities you can control the balance. Now we are going to move into the pedal. This is not just accompanist issue, but it is I had to teach quite often for pianists to really understand why the composer writes long pedal. There's no mystery by if you break the pedal. Now how could we do this? We could put it 3 bars in one pedal, but basically it's a 7th chord. The diminished 7th chord. So he wanted you to have in one pedal to create when it is released, it gives such a great sense of resolution, relief. No pedal change, no change. It's a magical effect, you know. If you change pedal, listen to this. It gives much more spinning very transparent, almost like a water drop, like very coloristic sound. And Beethoven wanted that different sound, you know. With the same idea in mind, this was Kreutzer Sonata was Opus 47, so he was already becoming much more exploring with the color and different sonority. And Spring Sonata is Opus 24, so it's much earlier work. And with same concept, I thought this would be possible. And then no So all these only change it there, but one harmony change, and then no pattern. Because if you look at the violin part, it's not real. They are not doing this. So we have to match dry. Without pedal. So maximize the different type of sonority and articulation. And I want to show you, I hope the microphone picks it up. Actually, I will just play. Yeah? With this, I will do something different with the pedal. The second one, I put the pedal down before one starts. So right pedal is all the way down, so release the string. The dampers are off the strings, so let the piano string free. Then it already speaks. No change, hold it. No change. No change. No change. Only change at the sixth bar with this harmony. When you go home, try this. This is not my invention. Actually, it was my first teacher, my teacher in Michigan, who told him, put the pedal down, no change for 5 bars, and 6 bar you change it. And it's a whole different world of sonority. Because it creates this mysterious mist is disappearing, and suddenly all the sonority just comes closer and closer, ringing to you. Beautiful pedal effect you can create. Now, in the normal edition you find in Fauré, the number 28, the international edition doesn't say anything, but lately, in recent years, Peter's edition created the war text, and with a Fauré's remark, he wrote in this section, vocal cone pedal. So sorry. Maybe change a little bit. So 3 bars, no change. And it will create this beautiful, just unfolding sonority rather than and also Fauré wrote this long slur for 4 bars. So he tried to communicate what he wanted, the sonority. And vocal cone pedal. You will not find this in most editions, but that was Fauré's intention. So yes, it's a dissonant, I know, but somehow because it's so soft. And you also know Fauré wrote in his piano solo pieces many dissonant notes, you know. So you can be generous with the pedal here. It doesn't have to be so clean. There are people who believe the balance can be the balance problem can be solved by frequent pedal change and dry playing, and I do not agree with it at all, especially in a place like this blanket of free sustained sonority will never create the balance problem, and balance problem cannot be solved by playing dry. My students go to different festivals and then come back, and they said from 2 different places they came back with this comment, and then I heard they're performing and Heasook piece, and I said that doesn't sound like Heasook because the pedal was too dry. So of course it's a personal taste and choice, but in a coloristic place you cannot play with a dry pedal for the sake of balance. Now I'm going to talk about the very important issue here. It's actually quite an advanced issue. My solo piano teacher at Juilliard taught me early on, long before I started accompanying. He said melodic direction is sometimes it comes from somewhere or it goes to somewhere. Don't get mixed up. But we never got really a chance to really elaborate on that. Until much later, I realized what he meant. And recently, I listened to Daniel Barenboim's masterclass. He was teaching Lang Lang and some other quite renowned pianists. And in the course of masterclass, he was saying, you know, there are melodic directions, 3 different melodic directions. So I said, what? 3? I thought it was only 2. And he said, you go to somewhere or it comes from somewhere and it stays. Interesting, isn't it? So you go to somewhere and you stay a little bit in the climax and then come down from that. So this Schubert arpeggio sonata, if you look at the third bar, you have the hairpin. So you have to go to here. Now, what do you do with the opening? I don't know whether you can hear the difference. I will play Come From. Go to. If you go you have to do even more. But if you do these 4 bars becomes a one unit. But if you go to from the beginning, another one, then you are chopping the 4 bar into 2 pieces. And when you play Come From, it gives almost this quiet but incredible pain and suffering, you know. But two very different melodic direction creates a beautiful balance and make these 4 bars complete. And in my CV, I don't mention this famous cellist name because we didn't agree on this spot. I played, and he wanted me to play. Then I felt it becomes so cheap, you know, even more, you know. So he wanted me that way in the first rehearsal. So I came home and I thought about it. And if it's somewhere I play with him, that's different. But this is opening. I am playing alone. And the audience will think that that's how I hear it. And I find it most embarrassing because I don't agree with it at all. So I went to the second rehearsal and I said, you know, I thought about it. What do you think? Let me play and tell me what you think. So I played the way I wanted. And then he heard it was something very different, but it sounded nice. So I was expecting, how shall we do? I was expecting that. And guess what he said? Oh, it sounds good. You do your way, I do my way. There I said, there's no chamber music. 2 identical melody, we are in 2 separate words. So that was the last answer from him. And I said, okay, this will be our first recital and the last one, because I just couldn't understand how anyone could think you do your way and I do my phrase, my way. And the funny thing was, most people, the opening, could you play for me, the opening? Yeah. Look at him, just. Yeah, you see, he goes down bow, but with this particular cellist, he was going. Yeah, he was going with the up bow. I think most cellists plays with a down bow, you know. So yes, he's quite well known. If I say the name, all the cellists would know. So I never mentioned the name, but that's how you know it was. So think about it. Melodic direction is a very important issue. I will show you another example. You pianists, all of you know, example number 30. But if you do, again, go to twice in a row, then it becomes two-bar phrase, two-bar phrase. So sorry. Then four-bar phrase becomes complete one phrase. There are many examples like this. Now, next example, the number 31. Could you, if you look at the cello bowing in number 32 and number 33, do you see the difference if you compare? We will do number 32 first.
That's the up bow.
Yeah, the up bow. Yeah. Look at his bow. Now, the example number 33. So, if he's doing with the up bow, it's naturally it is going to. Yeah, could you show me again? See, so this he's going to this one and the down bow. Down bow. Yeah. So the number 32 is André Navarra, who is a legendary cello teacher in France. And number 33, this is David Garingans, who edited this edition, who was one of the protege of Rostropovich. And of course, to play all in one bow is extremely difficult. So one of my colleagues at the Juilliard, who was a student of André Navarra, what he does, down bow, and then could you show? No, change it on the ta-di-da-da. Yeah, so he goes down bow, change the bow. Yeah, so he changes in the after the three note. to like coming from. So come from, now go to asking a question, you know. It's now it's up to you, but if the cellist is going, then you have to go. Think about it. You have to be in harmony with your partner, whether the melody come from or go to, you know. Now, I'm going to tell you a funny story with the spring sonata, you know, this famous spring sonata. What is it? Yes. I watched somehow Isaac Stern, this famous violinist, masterclass in China. And he said, celebrating spring, and he was going, you know. And then, so I said, yeah, many people turn it into sleepy spring. You know, so the violinist, the student of Mr. Zuckerman, very famous violinist, came, and he was going. So I said, is that what your teacher told you? The boy, is that your teacher's boy? Yeah, my teacher told me. Oh, I see, then it's okay. Then I became very curious. These are two very famous violinists, you know. So there is another famous violin teacher at our school, Sylvia Rosenberg. Formidable teacher, highly respected. So I phoned her. With her, I can always phone. And I said, Sylvia, can you tell me what bowing is right for the spring opening? And then she, instead of giving me an answer, why? Yeah, student came with a up bow, but I somehow feel it should be down bow. And then, whose student is this? Is it Pincus, Zuckerman's student? She was asking me. So I said, I wasn't going to, but because she already knew. So I said, yes, it was his student. I agree it should be down bow, but you know what? I discussed that with Pincus Zuckerman. He was playing with up bow, and I asked him, why are you playing that opening with the up bow? And then Zuckerman laughed. It's so damn difficult to play with a down bow. And so Sylvia asked to Zuckerman, God, with your, violinist, the facility and virtuosity cannot be different. Yeah, it's tricky, that's what he said. And some years later, I was working with Kyung-Hwa Chung, a famous Korean violinist, who won they shared the first prize together at the same year, at the same competition, Zuckerman and Kyung-Hwa Chung. And we were playing, and I said, is it down bow or up bow? And she said, you know what? I used to play down bow, but it's so difficult. I started playing up bow. But we pianists, there's no way. We cannot do it. Sound ta. So it's naturally it's down. Coming from ta, so we cannot do ta. So that's my answer. I still prefer it should be down bow, but one never knows with whom you will, be playing. So listen to this, the melodic direction, and you can discuss. And people change in the middle of their lives, suddenly change up bow or down bow, So it's an interesting thing, and the understanding the melodic direction, looking at the music in the same way, I find it important, because then when you look at the music in the same way, you'll be able to really create a different level of ensemble and harmony and the dual partnership. Yeah. Now, since you mentioned acoustic and ideal position for recording, I will talk briefly. We don't have too much time. There was a very famous recording engineer in Germany. To become a recording engineer, they call it Tonmeister. You have to go to conservatory for 5 years to become a good recording engineer, Tonmeister. And they have to be able to read the orchestra score and get trained like a music student, harmony and ear training and playing some instrument and so on. And asked by my partner to do the recording together. And normally to make a CD, they set aside 3 days. So we arrived a little after 10 o'clock. And it's a brutal, 3 days, because you have to play basically 3 days, until it is good. And we arrived there, and Tonmeister said, let's see where you should sit, both of you. So they had the piano in one position, and cellist sat like this. I always like this position much better, because I can feel what he's doing, not only hearing, but feel much closer. If cellist sits here, because it comes with a blend sonority, it's more difficult. But if the cellist sits here, I can hear him clearly, so I prefer here. But the recording engineer says, it sounds like it's from 2 different spaces. We cannot do that. And then he said, the best one was cellist sitting right around here at the curve. And with the piano lead for recording, you always do the piano lead all the way up. And after the run through just a little bit, cellist's face became red. And he said, if I do this for 3 days, I will become deaf. So loud, I cannot hear myself. I cannot sit here. So we started little after 10 o'clock. By the time we found the position where I can hear him or see him well, and the recording engineer is satisfied, it was 3 o'clock. So it was like 4.5 hours. We had to find the right spot. They angled the microphone in certain degrees, and it is almost like the mathematics, which angle. And finally, the position we found was my cellist was sitting way at the end of my piano tail, and on a podium, so that I could see him. So we were looking at each other on a podium high up, and microphone was in the middle. So if you have to do a recording, unless you know the recording engineer knows what they really hear, you have to find a place. You have to listen to the tape a little bit, test a little bit, and tape it and see what it is like, and whether you are comfortable in the position, and listen to the tape yourself. I sometimes sew the recording tape for entrance exam with the piano lid small stick or piano closed. We cannot hear what kind of sound the pianist is getting out of the piano. For recording, definitely full stick, and there is no other way. So it's a common sense, but somehow maybe it is not, Yeah. So for recording, make sure that you have piano lid all the way up, and also for many people, they put the microphone, one microphone for the piano and one microphone for the cello. That's not good enough. There's got to be another microphone, third microphone that captures the overall sonority together. Because some people, they don't want to deal with the balance problem. So they have one channel from the piano and second channel from the cello, and then they control. This is no good. And you are not capturing the sonority together, natural sonority. It's a manipulated sound, so it's not good. Now, with the professionalism, at the school, sometimes I hear how you can promote yourself and so on. Career development, they call it. But I always tell my students, all the knowledge how to promote yourself can only help when you are really well prepared and when you can really play really well. And for you to be able to really play well, you have to take care of your technique. Pianistic ability for accompanying is not any less than soloist. Any Brahms sonata or Beethoven sonata, they all require same level of technical mastery at the instrument. So you have to work on your technique first. And then when you come to the rehearsal, first rehearsal, you have to be 100% prepared, because oftentimes you do not get second chance. So don't go in just, we will get to know each other and read a little bit and chat a little bit and so on. I tell you a most embarrassing experience. I was 21 years old and I came to the US, and I had first chamber music lesson at Juilliard, and I was my violinist said, I want to do the Brahms Violin Sonata No. 2. So being from Korea, having no idea, I thought, I will go and meet her and say hello, and just when we start and so on. So I walked in, not knowing my part well, just read through once and then went in. And she wanted to play through the first movement. I was totally shocked, and of course I was embarrassed. And she said, but we have a lesson tomorrow, first lesson. But in Korea, you go first lesson, hello, and then I am so and so, and then what do you want to do? You don't really jump into the lesson. So I said, this is different. So I came home and then practiced like maniac. I was quick with learning, quickly. So I learned the whole thing, first movement, somehow, in one day, and walked in for the lesson the next day. And when I got there, she already spoke to the teacher that this girl doesn't know her part. So I walked in, and then the teacher said just politely, okay, let me listen to you too. So I sat down with all the concentration. Somehow I played. Maybe I missed a couple of notes here or there, but I played the whole thing, the first movement. And then the teacher said, well, she knows her part. But the violinist already had it. She did not want to continue with me. So that was one lesson I got. And I never saw the teacher again. I never saw the violinist again. And I was too embarrassed to go to the chamber music office. Where is my chamber music lesson? That was one lesson, and I never got another lesson. So it's very important. So I learned in a hard way, And so be prepared 100%, maybe 200% if it is important. Because no professional artist can afford to have pianists who disturbs them on the stage, no matter how famous they are. They want the pianists who feed them more energy rather than draining their energy. So for you to give the support, you not only have to know your part, you have to know your partner's part, and which part is difficult, which part they have to be free, and all these things. When I did my job interview, I had to prepare songs, and which I never played. So after I learned my part, I quickly got a CD and played along, just to make sure where people normally breathe. So the preparing as best as you can is a professional attitude, and then you'll be able to survive in this difficult profession. Okay, any questions?
有没有人有任何问题？有吗？
Normally, nobody asks questions.
Could you demonstrate us again the Mendelssohn Cello Sonata, the opening, the balance?
Hold on.
Yeah. 6.
It's number 5.
5, okay. Can you attempt more?
You want to see or yeah? Can you see?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we hear the two instruments again together?
Okay.